What was France like back then? What kind of society was it?
France wasn't a country in any sense that we recognise. It was a mosaic of petty lordships, lordships which fought with one another constantly. That although it's a very violent society, it's a society which has a very profound belief in Christianity.
For centuries, Western Christendom had been plagued by local wars in which Christians killed other Christians. In launching the First Crusade, Urban convinced the Knights of Europe to stop fighting each other and turn their attentions towards a common enemy.
Urban had a very powerful sense, I think, of the Muslim threat to Europe. And it was a threat, it was a very real threat. Therefore, his crusade can only be seen in terms of rolling back the tide of Islam, which he knew had swept across the Mediterranean many centuries before. The message which he gives to the French aristocracy is salvation through slaughter. They were aware of their sins. They knew that when they faced their Maker, they had many, many sins to make good for. Urban offers them salvation, a path to salvation, through slaughter. By doing what they did every day, as it were, killing, maiming, murdering, they could actually find eternal life. For us in the 21st century, this is one of the places where we get most close to the Crusades, because the man who wrote the history of the Crusades was actually the priest who served this altar.
In this very church?
In this very church.
Raymond of Agile was one of many chroniclers who left behind detailed eyewitness accounts of the Crusade.
They were chronicling God's work. They were continuing, in a sense, the Bible. The Bible story is a history, and they were telling another history of God's deeds on earth. In the 19th century, you have British rulers in India seeing themselves as crusaders. You have French rulers in Syria and North Africa seeing themselves as the heirs of the crusade. Now, this is an entirely false, romantic idea. Colonialism is not crusading. It's radically different. But I believe that that poisons Islamic-Christian relationships.
And particularly Islamic-Western relationships.
Islamic-Western relationships, yes, very badly indeed.